What's up, everybody? This is Will with California Hook Lift Trailers, also lightweight debris removal. We're headed over to a customer's house. We just got a last minute call for a dumpster rental here in Vista, and we was about to call it quits for the day, but got the call, so we're gonna go over there and take care of our customer. He needs a dumpster for a roof tear off, so it's gonna be a heavy one. We're gonna give him a 15 cubic yard dumpster rental and pick it up, I think, Sunday. Probably needs it picked up by Sunday. They're gonna tear off his roof. And I just want to do a quick video for you guys, show you from the start to finish process of delivering a dumpster and why it's important to document your delivery and talk to the customer and get some information. And I always take photos and since I'm always constantly making videos, I videotape every single drop off. And the reason being is I had an incident last year where I was making a video after dropping off the dumpster, and then when I picked it up, I actually made another video, a YouTube video I was gonna post, and I never used that material though. You know, I just like, okay, had enough of those, because we're doing so many dumpster rentals. I just felt like, man, we're just showing the same thing over and over again. So I had enough material, I didn't use it. Later on, because it was rented through a third-party company, it was a roof company that's a national brand, and they're not in California, but they needed that dumpster for their customer. So what happened was there was a complaint made. The homeowner was like, hey, someone broke this pipe. And we were like, really? And it ended up being a big pipe. It was a main sewer line, a clean out. So it's by 3 to 4 inches in diameter, and it was buried very deep. So it was probably down about 7 feet at the bottom. And what happened was somebody hit it and caused it to crack, and they were worried that it was cracked down where it connected to the main sewer line under or nearby the front of the house. So what looked to be like probably a minor incident required somebody to break up some concrete, get a backhoe out there and dig down to check it. So what was interesting was they were like, what are you going to do about it? And I'm like, do what about it? How do you know it was us? You know, and right away they passed the blame. They're like, look, can you go out there, talk to the lady, let her know that your driver probably hit it with the dumpster when he delivered it. And I'm like, well, they don't realize I'm the owner and I'm the delivery driver. But so I went out there, looked at it, and right away we could tell. It was like the dumpster did not do it, and the dumpster was nowhere near it. But they were still thinking like maybe because we brought multiple dumpsters there that at some point the dumpster wasn't in the same spot and damaged it. And I was like, there's no way possible. But it was very close to the edge of the concrete, so you know, I had me scratching my head and I didn't know what we were gonna do. So they were moving forward with it and then getting an estimate and asking me how we were gonna cover it. So I was kind of worried about it. And then I was going through my videos, and there it is. I see a video of every time I dropped off a dumpster there, and the 3 times I was there dropping dumpsters, and I was able to see and prove and document that my dumpster was nowhere near it. In fact, it was like 15 feet from the that sewer clean out line, all times, right? And as soon as I made a video and I sent it to the company that rented the dumpster through us, and it was obvious. And then they said, thank you, sorry about that, and they immediately went after the roofer, because what happened was there was no film or footage showing that the roofer did it, but it was in the direct path of the backyard, and it was kind of obvious that they were running roofing material on the side of the house right there where the clean out was, and more than likely someone hit it with a wheelbarrow coming through there, or maybe they were using a piece of machinery like a bobcat or something like that to hit it. And it probably was a wheelbarrow more than likely, because that's what they're using to load the dumpster. They're using wheelbarrows, bringing it to the front and loading it into the dumpster. And then at some point, when they were doing the front part, they were tearing it off and then throwing it directly down into the dumpster. So anyway, long story short, always guys, take pictures when you can of the dumpster. Take a picture of the contents that's in it. You know, take a picture of any damage around your dumpster, and then you know, so when you put it down and then when you pick it back up, you have some kind of proof, you know, some kind of evidence. Most of the time we never have issues. I take pictures all the time, but I've never had much issues at all. But just in case, you know, that was just kind of one of those things. So anyway, that's something I always tell people, you know, when they're learning how to drop off a dumpster, just be careful for that. You know, don't be so in a rush where you damage something. And then always look out for power lines, guys. That's a big one. Always look up. Train your head to look up. Look out for eaves of roofs. Look for mailboxes. Look for power lines and TV and cable lines and all that stuff, internet lines going up around the dumpster, because you do not want to touch your dumpster to a high voltage line at all, you know. So that would be good. All right, guys, let's get over there and I'll show you how we place the dumpster down.
Use the right lane to take exit 6 onto Vista Village Drive.
A little bit of traffic out today, guys. Every time it's Friday, one thing I do always is I remind myself it's Friday. I'm like, it's Friday, just be careful. People don't drive as good on Fridays, that's for sure. Everybody's like rushing home. It's the holidays coming up, so often people are just like scatterbrained and not really paying attention. So drive extra careful. What I try to do is be predictable. You know, by what I mean by that is I drive with a huge gap in front of me, and I hold my speed, you know, consistent. Instead of speeding up, slowing down, cutting lanes, moving, I try to get in the far right lane and just, you know, cruise at a good speed, maybe 55, 60. Sometimes on Fridays, I always just drive really slow, and I hang back and just let the traffic go by me. Try not to make any rash decisions, moves, because people are just like zigzagging. Nobody uses signals, it seems like, nowadays, and they're expecting your truck to be going straight, and they just kind of maneuver around you. So that's what I try to do, is try to drive super careful and be as predictable as possible. So let's go ahead and get over there. All right, getting closer over here. But as the driver, you want to make a decision. If you're, it depends on what type of equipment you're driving also, but if you're pulling a trailer, you definitely want to approach the house or the driveway with your on the driver's side. Meaning, when I'm pulling up to it, I'm looking at the house on my left side if I'm in a trailer, because then I could jackknife the trailer and, you know, pull the trailer in on my driver's side, on my left side. If you do it the opposite way, you come in the driveways on that side, when you pull up, now you got to back in on your blind side, and it's never a good. If you have to do it. But if all possibility, pulling a trailer, you always want to back into something, an alley, a dock, wherever you're backing into, do it on your driver's side. It's always the safest bet. If you're in a straight truck like this, it really doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really matter, because it's almost like driving a car. But I still try to approach it on my left side if I have the choice, on my driver's side, even in a straight truck. But it doesn't really matter in one of these trucks. It's very easy to see where you're pulling up at. Another thing is the customer asked if I could place the dumpster close to these as possible under his eave, because they're going to be having a roofer take the shingles off, and they want to be able to just push it right off the roof right into the back of the dumpster. So in these cases, I always have the homeowner, or Christina if she's with me, stand by the garage door and just make sure I stopped in time before hitting the garage door, because it can happen, guys. You barely touch a garage door with one of these dumpsters, it'll dent it or push it in and damage it. So that's what I'll do. I actually made sure that the guy would be there and back me in, so, you know, limit my any kind of problems. So it's gonna be coming up here in a second. Let me turn this off. All right, house should be coming up soon here. All right, it's the one on the left right here. So I'll pull around and see if we can talk to the homeowner real quick. We'll pull it right up under the eave right here. All right, and I always jump out and videotape not videotape, just film the dumpster. Close enough. All right, got it delivered. Homeowner was there. He showed up a little bit later. I thought he was gonna be there waiting for me. I texted him. I guess he got tied up in something, and then he showed up just now, right when I was filming. But met his wife. But the thing is, you also want to make sure you take photos and pictures, because you know, you just never know, guys. Like I was explaining in the beginning of the video, you don't know if they're gonna say, hey, whatever. Or how about someone shows up with equipment like a bobcat, and they decide to push your dumpster out of the way or pull your dumpster out of the driveway with a bobcat. I've had that happen to me, where I drop off a dumpster, show back up, and it's not there, and I'm like, what? Turn around, look, it's across the street, and you're like, how did my dumpster go over there? From what? You're like, whatever. And then the door looks kind of cockeyed, like they were pushing on it with a bobcat. You just never know. And then one more tip for you guys, a pro tip, is that always, like, if you run into an incident or you hear about an incident, you're watching YouTube and Will's like, yo, this is what happened. Modify your agreement. Always just add little clauses there, okay? Go on there. A good resource is ChatGPT if you want to learn how to write it up in your specific state laws or whatever. But basically, just add it to the wording of your existing contract. I think it should be growing and growing every year. You know, once you start, you might start off with just the basic stuff, and then as you're going, you're seeing the issues, and then you're like, hey, I got a lot of different ones in here. If you guys want tips on that, let me know. Put a comment down below. I'll make a video about that. Ours is pretty long, and over time, yeah, I mitigate a lot of stuff, because stuff happens, guys. And the saying goes, if it's not documented, it did happen. So, and then you always have something to point to. I'll give you another example, just real quick while I got you here. We put recently, I put a clause in there. I say no wet paint at all. Even empty buckets. I tell them, if you put empty cans into the dumpster, please put them in contractor bags. That's what I put in there, because guess what happened, guys? We had some rain last year, and somebody threw a bunch of, you know, what appeared to be empty 5-gallon buckets, but there's always that residue in the bottom. Some of them had more than normal, and guess what, guys? Guess what happened? The rain sucked up all that paint, and guess what happened? That stuff seeped out down the driveway, and the person was like, hey, what are we gonna do about this? And I'm like, I said, look, you know what? It doesn't appear they were in contractor bags. And they're like, nobody told me. And I'm like, let me see. I highlighted the part on the contract. He said, look, it's right here. You know, it's supposed to be in contractor bags. And then they're like, oh, we didn't do it, you know. But always protect yourself. If you're not sure, protect yourself anyway, right? Put it in there, guys. You know, like I said, if you guys want more information on that kind of stuff, or any information on what we do as far as covering ourselves, CYA, covering our contractors, guys, like our contractors, you got to look out for them too, because a lot of times you're dropping off stuff, probably dumpsters for them, and they have subcontractors. So I always keep an eye on the dumpsters, let the contractor know, like, hey, someone threw something in there, take pictures of it. If sometimes the homeowner or somebody nearby, like a neighbor, throws a couch in there, don't just take it, because it's going to be an ongoing problem. They should have been notified. The contractor should have been notified, and then we could have put signs up, or they let someone know and say, hey, we're not covering this, or charge the person, you know, living there. Like if it's someone leasing that place while it's being worked on, and that dumpster's there and they're using it for personal trash, the contractor can get compensated, you know. So I give them a little quote for what extra stuff was in there, and they can charge it to the you know, whoever's living there, leasing it or whatever. But those are just examples on why you need to protect yourself, guys. Don't just drop off dumpsters and take off. Another tip, guys, before I go, I watch a lot of same-day dumpster rental videos out there, and one tip that I use all the time now is don't just drop the dumpster and roll out, guys. I know it's tempting. That's why I love dumpster rentals, because you can do that. You don't got to talk to people if you don't want to. However, you're missing opportunities, because right now, just talking to the gentleman right before I left, and he was like, yo, I need this, I need that. Do you guys do this? And I started explaining everything we do. We do Bobcat work. That I told him that we also sell trailers, and he's interested in getting a trailer for his contractor business. So yeah, so always drop cards, tell people what you do, offer solutions. I'm pretty savvy now because I've been doing this 5 years. I can see what, kind of talking to people, what industry they're in. I can kind of offer them things that we do, even like equipment moving or car hauling or whatever, whatever they could use, I throw it at them. And then guess what, when things pop up, they give me a call. And if you sound like you got solutions, a lot of times people use you because they want to stay in touch with you, because if they have a problem with something, you're a good resource, just to talk to them and point them in the right direction on a lot of things. So anyway, food for thought, guys. Anyway, see you on the next one, guys. So almost forgot, guys, California hook lift trailer, don't forget about that. If you guys need equipment, you need dumpsters, if you got doesn't matter what kind of equipment you have, if you need dumpsters, let us know. We can get you dumpsters. We work with a lot of manufacturers that do ship dumpsters near us, so let me know. Give us a call, 1-866 Fill and Go. That's FILLNGO. Let me know, and then we get you into a trailer. We get you in a hook lift trailer, standard rail, trucks even, guys. Like I said, we're a licensed dealer in California, so we can sell new vehicles, used vehicles. I'm a broker, so if you needed me to go find you a vehicle, source it for you, I can do that too, guys. So just let us know, guys. Please, if this was helpful information, please subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up, guys. All right, have a good day.